Hello. Just a word of warning, today is probably not going to be the most fun video. I'm talking about musical snobbery, and I think there is a lot of it out there, and it used to be me, so I wanted to talk about it and how detrimental it can be to your attitude about music and the attitude of others about you and your music. So, I used to have this feeling that jazz was the literal best music out there, and there were only a few artists who did that really well, and everything else was absolute utter trash. I'm talking about the only person that I thought that had any validity was Charlie Parker. Or the only people I thought had any validity were Charlie Parker, Coltrane, like Michael Brecker, Chris Potter, and Kurt Rosenwinkel. Like, I had a handful of musicians that I actually thought were really good, and everybody else sucked. And that included me. I sucked too. And everything that I worked for was bringing myself up to that level. And it can have some value, holding yourself to a high standard. It can have value, and it certainly pushed me to work really hard to get to where I am now. But ultimately, that attitude led me to not understand or appreciate the plethora of amazing and wonderful music made by amazing and wonderful people. I would have friends who would play, and I would listen to them, and I'd say in my head, gosh, they suck. I would be super judgmental about anybody who liked rock and roll or pop music or anything. And it became pretty sad and lonely living with that kind of mentality. And don't be a snob. I know that I know that when I was learning music, it was hard to find value in what I was doing, because as musicians, we're investing so much time and energy and passion and heartbreak into something that is kind of a chance, and your reward is not necessarily money or fame. Your reward is just the satisfaction of knowing that you put in the hard work and the consistent growth. It's like life. So when you build your whole life around this idea of musical snobbery, you're missing out on all the beauty of the journey, because to somebody else, your music might be trash. To somebody else, anything that is not pop is the worst music that they've ever heard. And the reality is, when you live your life with that attitude, you're missing out on so much fun and adventure. You're missing out on such wonderful experiences. I have wrestled with this my whole life, and I think that this attitude kind of unintentionally closed a lot of doors for me, and I feel sad about that, especially in college. I was laser focused on one path. Sure, I played pop sax stuff. Sure, I played on rock and roll gigs and everything, but I kind of felt like I made a joke out of it. And it's not a joke. Music is not a joke. Music is fun. I mean, music can be full of jokes. Music can be made fun of. Music can be whatever you want it to be, but don't ever make a joke out of yourself when you're playing music. I mean, you can, but people probably won't take you very seriously. The best musicians I know take everything they play seriously, and they also don't take it seriously at all. There's this kind of involved but uninvolved attitude that I get. But I think it comes down to something I heard recently. It's take everything seriously except yourself. And I think that's very true in music. So honestly, I feel sad. I feel sad thinking about all the times that I chose musical snobbery over inclusiveness, and I I think that had I been more inclusive and more involved and more engaged in other people's art, my musical appreciation could be a lot larger. And I'm not saying that you have to like every kind of music, because obviously everybody has their own preferences. But appreciating and respecting another person's taste is very important. I've, in my life, I've had a hard time embracing the differences in others, in terms of, how could they not understand this? How could they not see the value in this? Or so on and so forth. And I think that it was magnified in my own personal musical snobbery. And it made me feel really alone. But I kind of realized that feeling alone is what made me feel different. And I got some value out of being a musical snob. I felt like I was elite because I was so dismissive of other styles. But it did not make me better. It made me kind of low. And I truly feel sorry for anybody that I hurt in that process. So, I'm just sharing here, and I hope that you can get some value out of my wrestling with musical snobbery. I know that I still have some of that in me, but I have grown a greater respect for people who put out their art, regardless of how good I think it may or may not be, what genre it is, who's playing it. Music is meant to be shared. Music is not owned by a group of elite people. Music is not. There's no gate into music. Music is just about enjoyment and exploration. And I mean, if you're watching this, you probably already know what music is. But I take it from somebody who has wrestled with musical snobbery for a lot of his musical life. Don't be a snob. Don't be a snob. Nobody likes a snob. And whether people admit it or not, they can tell that you're being a snob. Nobody's that good at hiding it. So please take this into consideration, and I hope you got some value out of this. I'm trying to share the reality of being a musician here, and the reality of pursuing greatness. It's not always pretty, and a lot of what you see online are people talking about how wonderful their lives are. And don't get me wrong, I feel blessed and grateful to have the life I have. But there are a lot of challenges in music. There are a lot of hard truths inside one must look at. And if you're not willing to do that, you're probably not going to grow as far as you want or grow as much as you want. So I urge you to look in the mirror and ask yourself if you're being a musical snob. And, ask yourself why. Why are you being a musical snob? What do these people do to you? What makes you right? What makes your musical taste right? Exactly. You're not right. You're right for you. You're right for your experience. You're right for what you want out of music. But don't go bashing other people's likes. Don't go bashing what people are passionate about. If somebody asks for your opinion, that's one thing. And even still, you don't have to say, this music is garbage, this music is trash. If I don't like something and somebody gives me an opinion on it, I might say, you know what, I just feel like it's overly simple. I like more complex music. It's not very interesting to me. It's not holding my attention. These are things that are true but aren't mean. Not the person who wrote this is the worst person in the world because they don't know who John Coltrane is. Why? Why do you need to be a snob? Why? What purpose does it serve? Are you covering up some insecurities or fears? And if you are, that's something to look at and address however you need to. So I hope you got value out of these videos, or out of today's video, or if you get any value out of my videos, please subscribe. If you have any thoughts about this, I'd love to hear them. Please leave a comment below. Also, if you have any ideas about some videos you'd like me to make in the future, please let me know in the comments. Share this with your friends. Don't be a snob, and call your friends out on it, because we don't need music police. We already have plenty of people trying to police everything in our day-to-day lives. Why do we need to police music too? What did music ever do to you? What did the honest people trying to make music ever do to you? They're just doing it because it's fun to them, especially hobbyists. There's a reason they choose to play music, because it scratches that itch. They don't have to play music to make money. They don't have to. So why are you bashing them? Why do you need to tear them down? Anyway, thanks for listening, and I will see you next time. Happy inward introspecting. Happy hunting and happy practicing. Bye.